If you received your property tax bill in the mail recently, then you saw the insert added by CBRM Mayor and Council that Minister Brian Comer called attack literature. So here's a question. Who authorized that insert? Or better yet, how did they authorize that insert?
Certainly one thing I was really disappointed was with yesterday, residents of Cape Breton received their tax bills. Inside that tax bill, there was a tax style, I guess you would say, literature, paid for taxpayer dollars. Certainly, that was surprising. I have a very close working relationship with my three councillors and with the mayor, for sure. It really was misleading for constituents.
Hi, I'm Joe Ward of Boxer Shorts Media, and there's so much bullshit in local CBRM, provincial, and federal politics right now, it's overwhelming. So I do my best to draw your attention to more bite-sized chunks of their shenanigans with my ringside reports, mostly just because I like saying ringside reports. I watched much of the discussion in the legislature, or law amendments, and in the CBRM Council on this Bill 340 stuff. The insert in our tax bills was, of course, designed to criticize that deal and get us all upset about it. In those discussions the politicians had on the topic, with me watching attentively as though it was the Golden Bachelor headed to the fantasy suite, the insert was called attack literature and described as political, which really means partisan or motivated by or aligned with a rival party to Houston and the gang. Here's a rule of thumb. It's only called attack literature by those who are the targets of the criticism. If they were the ones producing it, then surely their version would just be best described as a good-willed attempt to convey important information while upholding the highest ethical standards, or something sounding very high-minded like that. The only problem I have with this stuff is when it's deliberately misleading, or when it's simply ineffective, either due to poor messaging or half-past too late messaging. In the case of the CBRM, I'd say this represented all three: partially misleading, ineffective, and too late. If you're going to do it at all, do it well, do it on time, and get results. In one of my previous episodes, I paid particular attention to how they focused on our transit and housing crisis as the big and bold opening title, while not even glancing in CBU's direction. CBU, aka the primary reason we have a transit and housing crisis right now from the surge of students. I also felt that the insert seemed political in nature. It had a little bit of that stank on it. MLA John White from the Bay also made the obvious but important connection that these things take time to coordinate, get to the printers, and get inserted into the mailers.
I said partisan politics, and I'll say it again, because several councillors and the mayor came up here and presented at law amendments, and Tuesday, that was on Monday, and Tuesday we have what I would call an attack ad delivered to every house in Cape Breton. So shame is right. Regardless, you going to chirp over there or are you going to wrap it? What are you going to do?
Order.
So at that point, White was successful at pinning a rough timeline on the CBRM, hinting at how long they were planning to throw shade at Premier Houston via the mailbox of every taxpayer in our municipality. Quite some time before they showed up at law amendments to present and show how reasonable they were, all high-minded, once again. But if you're like me, some of you might be curious about something else here too. The insert had a note stating, "This advertisement is a message from the CBRM Mayor and Council." Now, if I missed it, then please comment and let me know my mistake. As a moderately inconsequential podcaster, I'm ever so comfortable with my limitations as a talking head here on YouTube. So if you simply know more than I do about protocol and doing these kind of communications, then fess up and let me know. Now, to stamp that tax bill insert as from Mayor and Council, doesn't that imply that it was either a unanimous consent to do so, or at least the majority of the 13 of them voted in favor of doing so? I'd like to know how they coordinated it. I want to know if it was a motion of council, or if it was done informally behind the scenes. I'd like to know if the councillors wanted the content of the insert refined or objected to any part of it, or if any of them simply did not want the insert to go out at all. Did they discuss how it could backfire or further spoil the relationship with the province? And I'd also like to know if it was voted on or discussed in an in-camera meeting, or a collaboration with the mayor and council that did not occur on camera or within an in-camera or private meeting, or a public session? And if it was in camera during a private meeting, if such a topic is something in the Municipal Government Act actually allows to occur in such a meeting? We've had issues with this in the past. Mayor McDougall herself walked out of one with some colleagues when it was suggested that the mayor at the time, Cecil Clark, and council were violating the terms of the MGA in doing so. You see, if you pull this kind of stunt, whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, whether well executed or poorly executed, I think as soon as you intend to stamp it as authorized by mayor and council, the public has the right to know who was behind that decision. If the tactic fails, it's not just the mayor and council that get burned. It is all of us who received those inserts in the mail too. We're the taxpayers. So who made that call? Was it just the CBRM mayor and council? Or were they taking advice from outside folks, including folks who may be elected officials from rival parties? It would be a good time for real journalists to start filing some FOIPOPs. As you can see, I have a lot of questions here today and not a lot of answers. And that's okay. The CBRM took a bold gamble, and while it didn't pay off this time, it is something they should do a post-mortem on and evaluate for the future. They're all supposedly equalization fairness advocates. Well, when was the last time you saw a tax bill arrive with information telling property owners the reason our tax rates are so high? Who's calling the shots here? Did they follow the process? Or is this the kind of play they have the power to move on without the transparency afforded by council sessions? Or maybe they did this all in a public session and it's me that missed it, in which case I'm sure that a few of you are just about to let me know. To make sure you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes, subscribe now to Boxer Shorts Media via your choice of YouTube or Facebook.
It is time to drain the swamp.
Please hang up and try again.